There's an unofficial rule of thumb to never say I love you first. Everyone tells us there's things to consider, that it should be this special moment in time, but sometimes we blurt it out and we're met with silence, or even worse, a thank you. I asked some people around our studio, who's the first person to say it?
Boys.
Girls.
Girls.
Boys.
We are bombarded with the stereotype that women are the more emotional ones and more likely to confess their feelings, while men are macho and hide them away. But this isn't the case. Research shows that men are actually more likely to say I love you first in a relationship. This is an example of how culture peddles certain thoughts about relationships that aren't necessarily true. I spoke to Dr. Gregory Popchak, a Catholic psychotherapist, about its effects on Christians.
There's a general attitude that men are pigs. And I think that I see this a lot in Christian media as well. But I think that it denies that men are capable of great virtue and great respect for women. And I think that by peddling to the lowest common denominator, we don't expect nearly enough from our men, and we also teach women to expect the worst from their men.
General defining attitudes like these take away from the love God intended Christians to share.
If we stop defining masculinity or femininity based on what people prefer to do, or likes, or certain qualities, and instead focus on the idea of masculinity and femininity as the gift of man and woman to each other, then we can start to understand that men and women aren't different from each other so much as they're different for each other.
Pope Francis has also given plenty of relationship advice. He believes happiness lies in 3 key words.
And when we're saying simple things like please and thank you and I'm sorry, husband and wife are deferring to one another out of deference to the real head of the household, who is Christ.
Posso? Permesso? Sappiamo ringraziare. Non finire mai una giornata senza chiedersi perdono.
Unlike any other job, marriage is a lifelong commitment. Pope Francis believes that only when man and woman work together can success be achieved.
Lavoro di orfebreria. Perché il marito ha il compito di fare più donna alla moglie e la moglie ha il compito di fare più uomo al marito.
Men become real men and women become real women when they embrace the full scope of their humanity and live those qualities out through the body and the brain that God gave them.
Pope Francis also lends some practical advice. Couples are bound to disagree sometimes.
Alcune volte volano i piatti, Voi ridete, ma è la verità.
For Currents, I'm Michelle Bowers.